Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
What's up, angels, demons, and sexy Satanists? This is Billy Persida, and you're listening to the Man Whore Podcast. Hey, welcome to the show if you're new, and welcome back if you're not. I want to give a shout out to all the Buck Angel fans tuning in for the first time for this week's special guest. Yeah, I said it. We've got Buck Angel on the show this week. The man with a pussy. The first big trans male porn star. He's a big deal. Can't wait to tell you more about Mr. Buck in a bit. But first, we got some show dates. People, show dates. Yeah, you know what? Fuck the show dates. Look, I've got some comedy shows coming up. You're all welcome to come on out to. And you can find those listed at manwhorepod.com/comedy. But right now, there's only one date that matters that I need to tell you about. All you Buck fans you can participate too. My birthday's coming up this weekend, and so I have decided that Monday, June 6th, shall be Man Whore Monday. Yes, look, there's only one thing I want for my birthday, and I can only get it from you. Yes, you, and then also you too, and probably you over there as well. I want to be a top 10 podcast on iTunes. That's the only thing I want for my birthday. I don't want cash, books, butt plugs, toys, nothing. I just want to be up there with the greats, if only for a few hours by mistake. And here's how we're going to do it. Monday, June 6th, you fine people, my fan whores, the Buck Angel fans, if you want to give this adorable straight guy a nice little birthday surprise. You people are going to do two things for me, and they're two very easy, very simple, very quick, very free things. Okay, I need you to do this. I need you to first go to iTunes and leave a 5-star rating. Even if you don't use iTunes, you use Stitcher, Overcast, something else, Spotify. Go to iTunes anyway, make a fake account, leave me a 5-star rating. Second, you're going to share the iTunes link for this podcast on Facebook, encouraging your friends to check it out or subscribe. That's it. That's all you got to do. That's easy, right? That's painless, and it's free. And why are we doing this? Okay, so if everybody does this on the same exact day, Monday, June 6th, what time, Billy? Anytime you want. If everybody does this on the exact same day, the 5-star rating and sharing it on Facebook, which will cause people to click the link and click subscribe or download an episode, it's going to break the iTunes algorithm. It's going to be like, oh my God, look at all these new ratings and look at all these new subscribers. It will shove me up the rankings, and I would like us to crack the top 10. Not the top 10 sex podcasts. I mean the top 10 of all podcasts. But I can't do it without you. Only you can do it. Even you reaching into your pocket for some keys, I mean you too. This only works if everyone does it. Okay, look, over 1,000 people are going to hear this within the first 36 hours. And thousands have already heard me talk about Man Whore Monday, June 6th. So just think about the numbers. If thousands of people do this, and then like another few thousand are all clicking subscribe as well because they saw their friend post about it on Facebook, it's going to happen. And I'm going to make it even easier for you on Monday, June 6th. Go to manwhorepod.com. You will see a blog post where you can just copy and paste the iTunes link with a little template message saying like, hey, I love this podcast. You should check it out. Click subscribe. You can just copy and paste that onto your Facebook feed and boom, bam, done. And it's all I ask you to do. Look, I know I plug things from time to time. I plug the Patreon every week. Sometimes I have an ad. Got to get the dollars somehow. I know a lot of you think podcasts should be free and should be free entertainment that you should be able to consume for free for yourself. And that's fine. I do it too. I listen to free podcasts myself. So think of this as your one-time free payment to me for putting out what you think is a good podcast every week for 112 consecutive weeks. I get times are tight. You can't contribute to the Patreon. Okay. But you can do this because this is easy. This is simple. This is free. And it takes no more than 3 minutes of your time. Don't like the idea of it being a payment? Okay. How about as a birthday gift? Think of this as a free birthday gift to Billy. So please put in your iCal, your GCal on a Post-it note, write it on a Sharpie on your arm. Monday, June 6th, go to manwhorepod.com. You will see the instructions. You'll see the link. You'll see a template to copy and paste. It's easy and it will mean the fucking world to me. And all you Buck Angel fans, look, if you enjoy the episode, I really hope you'll participate on Man Whore Monday and make my birthday wish come true. I know I just rambled a long time all about me. I'm sure some of you even skipped it. I hope the real fans out there only skipped it because they're like, yeah, Billy, I'm on board. Monday, June 6th. 5-star rating and share the link on Facebook. I'm in. Shut the fuck up and let's get to Buck. Okay. Let's move on. Who cares about Billy's birthday happiness, right? I want to take a moment to say thank you to everyone who reached out to me after last week's episode. You know, I disclosed last week that I've been going through a rough breakup, and I had a lot of people reach out on Twitter, shooting me emails, Facebook messages. Shout out to Girl Anon, who was making really nice comments on the Man Whore Podcast subreddit. It means the world to me that y'all give a shit about my happiness and told me that it will get better, and it's already getting better. So, and to say words to me, whether they're good words or bad words, you can follow me on Twitter at @TheBillyProceda. You can use the hashtag ManWhorePodcast. That's another way I can find your tweets. Your emails are also always accepted over at manwhorepod@gmail.com. And the subreddit is r/manwhorepodcast over on Reddit. I also want to give a shout out to the spies listening in on behalf of my lady friend P. It has come to my attention that y'all listen and report back to her. I shall change nothing that I'm going to say on this podcast, but I wanted to let you know it's cool that you're listening. It's fine with me, and I'm waving hello. I'll see you at the next hacienda. All right, people, what's going on? Yo, okay, this happened. This happened actually during the podcation, but so I've been waiting like a month to tell you all about it. About a month ago, I'm on Craigslist, and I respond to an ad. And the ad was for, it was this couple, and he was like, quote unquote, punishing her for being like a bad girl. And I've been making her lick my asshole all week because she's been such a bad girl. And now I'm going to make her lick other dudes' assholes and maybe blow them. And I'm a fan of the butthole licking, of the getting the butthole licked. Not as much a fan of the butthole licking. So I applied for the ad. I got a response. He was like, "Yeah, okay, let's do this." We chit chat on the phone. I hear some. The ad is put out by the woman. The girlfriend got to pick whose butt she was gonna lick, I guess, as what I thought was a quote unquote punishment. But it soon began to unravel that this was more of like a real punishment. Like, she's sending me these little distress signals in her text. The lines of consent seem a little blurred here. So I call the boyfriend. We have a chit chat, and he explains the situation. She's doing this as punishment. She consents. This is totally consensual, but like, she doesn't want to do it, but she knows that she has to do this because, she, cheated. And I'm thinking like, fuck. Because now my Craigslist conscience is coming into play. I gotta, like, on one hand, I really want to get a rim job from this really hot chick. And on the other hand, I'm like, I don't want to sexually assault this woman with my butthole. Because as I talk to her, as I text her and talk on the phone with him, I become more and more aware that like this is not like a sexy like punishment role play. This is like he's punishing her. And sex shouldn't be used as a punishment. That's not cool. While she and I are texting, she keeps going, look, I will give you the best blowjob ever if you talk him out of making me eat your butt. And now there's like a third dilemma because now it's like, I could also angle this to get the blowjob. But then in some weird, crazy, fucked up way, like I'm pulling the wool over his eyes, which is also kind of uncool. I don't know. It's all blurry. It's all weird. But she's hot, and I'm a horny person. I end up having a pep talk with the boyfriend, being like, "Look, dude, I'm a level with you. She don't want to do this. If you do this, she's gonna be really, really sad and disgusted about it. She's already not happy about licking your borderline rapey, abusive boyfriend asshole." And as soon as I level with him, he immediately becomes apologetic. He starts going, "Oh my God, like I would never want her to do something she like didn't want to do that much." I guess I don't think he realized like she says she would have been happy to blow me as quote unquote punishment. But making her eat my ass made it become a real punishment because she doesn't like eating ass. She likes giving blowjobs. And I explained this to him. I was like, look, if you want to do it a different way, you want to make this like a cute humiliation thing, I'm down. But not with the current circumstances. And he got apologetic. I think he got apologetic and he's like, yeah, I'm going to talk to her and, I'll get back to you. And I'm like, good. And I checked in separately with both of them. Like, texted her one thing. I texted him another thing. Both of them said, yeah, we had a conversation about the relationship. We're going to work through it. We're going to talk through it rather than like borderline sexually abuse each other through it. And I all of a sudden became like a Craigslist couples counselor. What the fuck? I became a Craigslist couples counselor. I got no butthole licking. I got no blowjob. And so a lot of you are thinking probably this guy's an asshole. He's an abusive boyfriend. She should dump him. Yes and no. Because it's not all this stuff you see about sexual assault, consent, college, everything. It's all nuanced. People want to make really rigid lines. There's few rigid lines when it comes to consent. No really is that rigid line. The no. Now she, when she was talking to me, she said, well, I'm agreeing to do this. I am consenting very unenthusiastically. And the reason was because she didn't want him to dump her. And I was like, well, this sounds like a guy where if he would dump you because you're not going to lick a stranger's asshole because you flirted with another dude. You didn't even bang him. I think you made out with him. You should hope he dumps you so you don't have to dump his ass first. And this other guy, he's like, I'm really hurt and I wanted to humiliate her and I wanted a punishment. And I was like, yeah, man, sex just shouldn't be used as a punishment. This is why I'll get to a point. This is why I don't think he's this super abusive asshole. Because he had as soon as I presented this to him as this is not cool, he got it. He just never thought of it like that because we don't teach consent. We don't teach about, we don't teach kids how to be in relationships and how to communicate. We don't teach people that sex should not be used as a weapon. We don't teach why BDSM is not an excuse to be abusive. It's because it's consensual, sexy play for both people. We don't teach any of this shit. So this guy genuinely didn't know. That's why I bring up the sexual assault college stuff, because there's a lot of asshole dudes raping people and taking the sex. There's a difference between taking the pussy and not realizing what you're doing violates consent because no one taught you that a super drunk chick who's giggling no because she's afraid to give a firm no because of the society we live in, that counts as rape. Sometimes dudes just don't know that because we don't teach them. So I found that whole Craigslist situation interesting because there was a lot going on. And at the end of the day, Billy's butthole remained very dry and his cock remained quite soft. But there is a couple out there talking to each other and hopefully working through their shit. So that was interesting. I don't know. I don't know if maybe y'all skipped over that. I know I rambled a little bit, got a little heavy. Okay, let's skip to something that's quick, simple, easy, lighthearted, and fun. Let's do the impersonal Patreon roll call. Yes. Okay, this is the part of the show where I like to thank all of my supporters on Patreon. Yes, this show, again, it is a free podcast, and I know times are tough, so every dollar y'all pledge means the fucking world to me, because I know it can't always be easy for everyone, which is also why we have Man Whore Monday on June 6th, right? Because times are tough, but Man Whore Monday is a free way to support the show. But these people go above and beyond the Call of Duty and have pledged their support with their dollars. And I like to thank them on the show every week. So right now, big round of applause to Lance, SB, Jennifer C, Jazz O, Nelly H, Jeff C, Megan N, Justin C, Madeline B, Dave K, Brian W, author of The History of Porn, Frank D, Jeremy B, Christina D, Holly F, Double Penetration Danielle, Andrew R, Sarah B, Catherine B, Alex S, Chris W, Lauren M, Gregory Y, Anna Super Slut, Ed B, Sean B, Prickly Peach, Julian H, Mary G, Dervla, Corey G, Alfredo A, Mark G, Emily S, and we still got some more names to go. Toby T, Anthony C, Chris with a K, Greg A, Jeffrey J, Lawrence B, Ramon F, Sarah S, and Lauren A with the big titties. Thank you all so very much for donating to the show. And you too can join dozens of fan whores and support this podcast on Patreon. You can contribute as little as $1 per month, and you can cancel at any time. To do so, go to manwhorepod.com and click the Patreon banner on the side. And while you're at manwhorepod.com, make sure to get on that mailing list, people. It's the best, easiest, and fastest way to get all your man whore news. Especially if I come to a city near you, you don't want to miss me. Am I right, folks? So head on over there. And also at manwhorepod.com is where you're going to copy and paste the iTunes link to put on Facebook on Monday, June 6th for my birthday. Now, this week's guest is Buck Angel. Buck Angel is a trans male porn star. He is a man with a pussy. There's zero chance a Republican will look him in the eye and tell him to use the woman's room because that Republican would all of a sudden realize, wait a second, my wife's in that bathroom, and he's a more attractive man than I am. Buck Angel, what an amazing dude. We had a chat while I was out in Los Angeles. This is one of my LA episodes. He was fucking fantastic. Oh man, we talked about, trans rights. We talked about porn. We talked about his transition. We talked about how he used to fuck homeless dudes on camera, which I had questionable feelings about. We talked about one of my favorite topics, language police. Nice to know there's a tranny on my side. Billy, I'm going to send you an angry email about using the word tranny. I'm like, you know what? My use of the word tranny has been Buck Angel approved, so everyone else can go fuck off. So this is a phenomenal one, folks. I think you're going to love it. Fans of Buck, I hope you dig it and come back next week for more. But for now, let's check out me chit-chatting with Buck Angel. Email Netflix, send letters.
Email Netflix, so you want Buck
They definitely
Angel.
don't take letters anymore. They're very
Did
anti
I say
anything
letter?
physical. Really aging yourself
A
there.
stamp, no TV set.
I was disappointed to see that. But don't you sell it on your website as well
Yeah,
now?
I sell it on my website. Yeah, and
great.
I think it's also on Amazon and iTunes.
Okay. Yeah, great. It's a great doc. Mr. Angel, right? That's
Yes,
the
Mr.
title of
Angel.
it? Yeah, it's I really enjoyed it last year. It was heartwarming. It let me really get a sense of who you are.
Right on.
Because all I knew was like you see that one poster. It's like man with the pussy.
I know, and it's like,
And for
it's
me,
like, wait a minute, I don't know if I want to watch that.
right? Well, that like for me, that's all I knew of you at the time. I was like, okay, that's a person. And I'm not watching, but like that's great that it's there.
Right on. I know. I think that it might turn some people off because I just look like, what am I going to watch this? Looks crazy. This guy looks like a crazy maniac or something. You know? What I
Well,
mean?
you look like
a
a
biker.
you look like a retired UFC fighter.
Exactly. So they were like, what is that all about?
I mean, like, yeah, you look like you could beat the shit out
But
of it.
like people watch it. Like I get letters from get letters from people like all across the United States, dude, that are just like, oh, I'm a corporal in the military who has a family. I'm straight. And I watched your documentary and I was blown away. And you totally changed my mind about the way I feel about people like you.
Really?
Totally happens.
Although
all the time.
he's still saying the phrase "people like you." It's like, you know what, baby steps.
But it's okay. The fact that he picked up, you know what, a pen and paper. Just kidding. The fact that he got on email and wrote me a letter is everything to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's just so fabulous. There's that one scene where you're at was it AVNs or you were at some expo
right,
maybe,
AVN.
and they had the whole, and your comments like, wow, they gave us like a full body thing.
Yes.
I was like that, and I was like, in a weird way, like a very beautiful moment. Where
No,
you're,
what? Actually,
you know?
oh no, that was Europe at the big European show. Yeah, and then there's a time where all of a sudden I busted through, and then everybody was just like Buck Angel, and it was like very difficult to get to that point. Though it was not easy.
I mean, you're like the guy though. Like I feel like you're the first, male trans star who like really.
I am the first
anyone
man.
knows of.
Yeah, of anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did sex work. Sex sells and sex gets people's attention.
Yeah.
So by doing that, I started in 2002,
right,
when nobody was transitioning. I mean, I had my transition over 20 years ago when nobody was transitioning.
And roughly, because I don't know if you're like don't like your age out there, but
Oh no, I'm 53.
You're 53.
Yeah.
So you started porn like later in life, anyways.
Yes. Where people say you can't do porn when you're old. That's totally a bunch of crap. Or you can't model, or you can't do anything. No, age is nothing. People don't even have a clue I'm 53.
Right.
And again, it's like I talk about my age a lot now because I'm over 50, and I think it's very important for people to see the representation of a 53-year-old man.
Yeah.
Who used to be a woman.
Right. and your transition was, so by the time you started doing porn, you were like very comfortable with your transition and everything was kind of done?
Totally. I would have never been able to do porn if I wasn't. I was totally comfortable sexually with my vagina and totally having sex. And it wasn't easy to get to that point. But once I was like, you know what? I don't see anybody in porn doing this. I need to have a representation before somebody else grabs a hold of a guy like me and makes it into a freak fest, because that would happen.
Sure, yeah. Someone
totally
comes in with
happen.
the wrong intentions.
Of course. And so now they can't do it because I already started the genre. And so nobody can make it a freaky genre. Now it's specifically legit Buck Angel's genre.
And I've been starting to meet like younger, like through my friend. Oh, Ames. Ames.
Oh yeah,
Ames Beck.
I know Ames.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Great
guy.
Yeah. He says hi.
Okay.
And I remember, and I met Ames like right before the transition, so I knew when it was still Amy. And so,
Right, me too.
And I was doing one of the photo shoots, and he has over like a couple of people, and I meet like a couple FTM trans people who are now doing porn, and like you're like the role model.
Yes,
I
think I shot most of all those guys are shooting now, but that was the point. I wanted to. I want to make this into a genre. It's not really a genre. Right. It's not a genre. A genre is a whole bunch of other people doing it too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, niche is huge because.
It's good. It's great. I love my work. I love what I get to do. I'm very, very blessed, and for lack of a better word, I'm just very lucky that I was able to make it through to get to this point in my life.
I should probably at some point say, I'm talking the Buck Angel.
I think they figured it out.
They figured it out at some point. Yeah, the very heavily tattooed, the very bouncer-esque Buck Angel.
But I'm nice. I know I look that way, but I'm not that way.
So now, but do you still do porn shoots?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I shoot a series called Sexing the Trans Man.
Yeah.
I'm on volume 5 now, and it's like docu-porn, but it's specifically talking to other trans men, and then I have them do sex scenes for me. So I personally don't shoot porn anymore. I'm not an actor. I'm just a
that's
director.
what I meant. Yeah,
I'm a director and a producer.
Okay.
Yeah, but if the right project comes along, I will do it. But I've done everything.
What would a right project be?
The right project would be me shooting in the mainstream porn, straight world. So it would be me shooting with a woman, like a porn star woman in a scene, in a straight let's
So,
say
like, you-
Vivid
so-
or Evil Angel or something.
So would you
like
be
that.
like strapping on or?
It depends. It
Okay.
could be it would have to be a very much of a scene that would break the boundaries that has never been broken before, which would be me. And no trans man has ever been in a straight film before. And what I mean is like, the more straight.
I was going to ask if you had been with any like cis women in the in porn
Never.
shoots.
In my own series, but not in a major label. Because I don't really shoot for other labels. I only shoot for my own. But if that came along, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Okay. Because you say like if the right project comes along, and I
Yes.
picture like Daniel Day-Lewis, like, you know what? I'm out here in Italy. I'm learning how to make shoes, but if the right project comes along, I'll come back out.
Because I feel like I already acted and I already did it and I made a whole bunch of films and it's like I want people to see other trans men. You know what I mean? I want to give those guys the opportunity to become trans, to become porn stars. I'm not a porn star anymore. I'm much more of a I don't know what I am, a filmmaker, a speaker.
Yeah. I was gonna say your website is like the cleanest porn star website.
Exactly. I did that for a reason. I do that for a reason so that people will come to see my stuff and not feel like obligated to look at nudity because I have a huge outside of the porn world fan base.
Right.
And so I don't want people to feel uncomfortable around sex because they do.
You want them to look it up in the library and feel safe.
Or go to my pornographic website because I have a pornographic website.
Okay.
So I want them to do that. I don't want people to feel. I don't want to shove it in your face.
Yeah.
If you're interested in looking at it or seeing it, great. If you're not, I have a lot of other things we can talk about.
Okay.
Right on.
When you started being in porn, though,
Uh-huh.
were you facing a lot of backlash from like since you were shooting with other men? Were you shooting with primarily, I'm assuming, like gay men? Right. So was there kind of like some
God,
pushback
dude.
from that from the actors you were in
That's an
scenes with?
understatement. That's an understatement. Guy, first off, the whole porn business freaked out on me.
Yeah.
They were not welcoming at all. They were extremely rude and disrespectful and calling me names. And it was like, who are you? Like, and they're calling me a freak and this isn't belong in porn. I'm like, what? There's trans women porn, tons of it.
There's shitting on people
there's
porn.
Shitting
That's
on people
okay.
porn. And again, I am in no way going to say what you do is bad. Like I totally am cool with whatever you want to do. Right? But don't disrespect me like that. But actually, it was the best thing that ever happened to me because it really pissed me off, and that made me even work harder to break through. So within 3 years of starting, I won the AVN Transsexual Performer of the Year, which is like winning, the Oscar.
Yeah.
It's like, and within 3 years of starting that, and so then that woke everybody up.
Right.
And all of a sudden, the whole industry was like, oh, actually, this guy has something legit to do. But in the beginning, even gay men will write me letters and say, but I'm gay and I'm attracted to you. Does that make me straight? Can you believe it?
Yeah. Wait, so and that's best transsexual performer amongst all the like the MTFs too, is right?
Yeah, I'm the only trans man that has ever won that award or been nominated for that award. I think last year James Darling in San Francisco was nominated, but prior to him, I was the first and I'm the only trans man. So yeah, it was me and a bunch of trans women.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden, the trans women were so mad. They kept saying, he's not a transsexual. I'm like, what? Are you? Yeah, they were mad. They bought very expensive dresses.
Oh man, I can imagine. What was your first shoot like?
Oh, my very first movie was called The Adventures of Buck Naked, and I did that myself. And I did it with my own handheld camera, totally POV, just like totally amateur, out in the middle of the woods in Louisiana in the swamps. And I just could only shoot myself or with my wife at the time, and that was it. It was horrible.
So your first scenes were with you and your wife?
Me and my wife, or solo scenes, yes.
Okay.
So eventually I would find guys on the street. Like I found some really cool punky hip like homeless punk dudes. And I would bring them home and I would shower them and clip their nails.
Oh no, you fucked the homeless dude.
I totally.
Oh, Buck.
Totally. It was so great.
My feelings on you.
And then he became a regular for me.
Oh no.
No, he was a cool 25-year-old little punk dude living on the street. I give him some money and some food. And
call me ableist. Just the idea of fuck. Like I found out someone I'm dating right now, she fucked a homeless guy at some point, and I now have different feelings about her. I'm like, I still like you, but.
Hey, they need to be fucked too, dude.
Yeah, it's funny. I was doing a comedy show once in a bar, and underneath the bar, in like a lower level, there was going on a BDSM party, and the admission was $5. So when I opened with I found out the party downstairs is $5. I was like, a homeless guy could panhandle that in an hour. That's
Totally.
That seems kind of gross. And some woman yelled out, I was like, that's ableist, you pig.
Oh gosh.
And she says homeless people deserve love too. I was like, I'm sorry, have you ever fucked a homeless guy? And she recoiled. She's like, huh. I was like, haha, see?
Right.
See?
There you go. That's very typical of the people today with the language. The whole language police.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm aware.
Oh, of course you're a comedian.
Yeah.
Every comedian in the whole world is aware of that, which is so ridiculous. I'm very anti-policing language. Very anti.
So are you
I use the
comfortable
word
with-
tranny a lot. I reclaim that
Yeah.
word. Don't tell me I can't use it. I'm 53 motherfucking years old.
You're like, I'm going to do what I want.
Don't you ever tell me. These are 20-year-old children telling
Right.
me, Trampaw, I'm Trampaw.
Trampaw.
Telling me not to use a word that I have grown up with, that my sisters, my trans sisters grew up with.
Right.
And we use that word specifically very much in a positive way. Of course, if you're going to use it as a derogatory statement, that's with anything.
And the key part of that was as a derogatory statement.
Sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
of course. Of
'Cause
course.
I sometimes
of course.
like I interchange trans, transgender, and tranny based like lyrically how it sounds in the sentence. Like just
Yes.
they all have different amount of syllables.
And if you can't reclaim one word, let's use the example queer.
Right.
Does everybody in the world use queer now? Oh, queer is the happy word.
queer
Right.
used to be a really bad word,
And
right?
I just spoke to an older gay man who is 65 years old about this exact thing. He said, I hate that word queer. It comes from a very bad space for me. And I can't believe how everyone just walks around talking about queer, queer, queer. I lost a lot of my friends getting beat up, getting killed over the use of the word queer. And I said, exactly my point. Why can they use queer, but we can't use tranny? Right?
Yeah.
Nobody can ever... Not one of those people who are the tranny haters who say that we can't use that word can ever give me a logical explanation for it. Ever. So
Also,
it
a lot of
doesn't make
cis people telling you you're not supposed to use the word.
I
You're
know.
like,
Now it's
I'm
like,
sorry,
oh,
wait, huh?
really?
I'm sorry. What's
And
going?
that's another thing, the use of the word cisgender. I know many cisgender people who don't like that word. And all we did, trans people invented that word, by the way.
Right.
And we only
Yeah,
did it to
how-
box you in.
Right. By the way, how did you come up with that? Like, is there a Latin?
So, look it up.
thing
It's
for it?
ridiculous.
'Cause
It's
I don't-
basically the opposite of
Yeah.
trans.
Like, I'm aware of what it was,
Yes.
but I never understood how you got there.
Who knows? Some of those people who are actually haters, they hate cisgender people, and they hate the fact that they're victims. I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor. Completely different. You have a different mentality of things when you're a survivor than when you are a victim. People who are victimized themselves are constantly looking for a way to say, you can't use that word. You can't have this. I'm this. Poor me. You know what I mean? And I'm like, whatever. Let's just all use words. And we all are human at the core of everything. We're human. We're brothers and sisters. We're family. We're lovers. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, you've been through trenches. At this point, words, like, really, how bad is that word?
you cannot hurt my feelings. The things people say to me, you can imagine.
Yeah.
Right? It's funny to me.
Yeah,
You
but-
can't.
But you've already been through, like, the ringer with like, family and you were...
Drugs and alcohol and like homeless and prostitution on the street and cutting myself and 2 suicide attempts and blah, 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 right? Like now my life is
Right.
amazing,
Yeah.
dude. Like the word tranny is the farthest.
It's like, oh, you want to call me that? That's cute.
It is. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So I came up with the use of the word trampaw. So that now nobody can say shit to me because I'm trampaw. But
Yeah.
I know that some people are totally fuming about it because it's sort of whatever. They're going to make something up like it's a derogatory statement. So,
How old were you when you went through your transition?
I started, I think, in my late 20s, 28, 27, 28 years old.
But
yeah.
you knew beforehand.
Oh, yeah,
This is
forever.
always a thing because
Yeah.
I'm just don't understand. I ask
Of
this to
course.
my gay friends too. It's like I just don't get it. So like, when do you understand that you're in the wrong body?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I grew up pretty cool. My parents were pretty cool. And
Yeah.
they really raised me kind of very much like a boy. I was a tomboy, all that. Everything was totally chill. I never thought that I wasn't a boy in a weird way. It was very normal. It was, again, which almost every trans person will tell you, puberty, right? Because what happens is now all of a sudden my little boy body with no boobs and, I'm running around playing with G.I. Joe. At 16, all of a sudden boobs, and that's late for a girl to start puberty. And my boobs started, and I got my period, and that was the end of everything for me because then I became a woman.
Yeah.
Then I became a woman. So then I realized, oh my God, I don't know if I could actually say that I realized other than the fact that it just put me in a deep depression. I didn't know that I could actually become who I am now. Not for many, many years after that. Everyone just said I was a lesbian, and I was just a butch woman, and that's what I did for many years. But there was something inside of me that knew it was wrong. But, you have to remember this is in the 70s, and not one doctor could tell me, therapist or psychiatrist could ever tell me that you're a transsexual. They would just say that you have to figure it out. Everything you'll grow out. Telling my parents, she'll grow out of it. Everything, what they did.
I mean, the 70s were doctors still using vocabulary like perverted or perversion
totally.
and stuff.
I got put into a hospital because of the suicide attempts, and they didn't try to figure out why I was trying to kill myself. They just put me in which they call a mental hospital, psychiatric ward, and I was in there for a month, dude. That was the most horrifying experience. It was just horrible because they couldn't figure me out, and I just wanted to kill myself. And I kept saying, I feel like a man, and they're like, okay, he's crazy, or she's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild. Wait, you were also a model, though, right?
Yeah. Weird.
So when I read that, part of me was like, wait a second. So when he transitions to be a man, he's a stud. He looks like a stud. Like you're a dude. A lot of people, like a lot of chicks, want to bang.
Yeah.
And then wait, so when you were still in a female body, you were like a babe? Like, that's not fair.
I know, it's weird.
That's not fair at all.
I mean, if you'd even say that is weird, but I guess I was, and people would always tell me how hot I was, and dudes always want to fuck me, and I'm like not into it, and I want to fuck the lady. So I would go on my casting calls for the modeling stuff, and they'd be the hottest dude, hot model chicks, and they would all just be like, people would say you're in the wrong casting, you're in the wrong place, because they thought I was a dude.
They knew as well.
And then all the girls would just be like, let me see your book, because back in the day we had books, with our pictures, and then all the girls would just get around and be like, oh my God, you're amazing. It was way before the whole androgyny thing hit, so... Yeah.
Oh, you were rocking an androgynous look?
Androgynous, yes, totally.
Wow,
totally.
okay.
I mean, I actually had the opportunity to become a major, huge supermodel.
Well, you still ended up kind of a supermodel in a different way.
In a different way, I guess. Yeah, I just couldn't do it, man. I hated it. I was drinking so much alcohol and doing so much drugs, and I just hated it. I mean, I didn't want to be a woman. It was a weird experience for me.
Right. And in the drinking, all that stuff started to taper off when you went through the transition.
Yeah, because I got sober before the transition. That's really what helped me. I got sober within a year or two. I started getting, and then it just I saw this documentary with a female to male transsexual, and I was like, hello. Nobody told me I could have it, which is what we called a sex change back in the day. Yeah. Nobody told me that. Nobody. They only said I was a dyke or a lesbian. And I'm just like, hello, somebody just went from a woman to a man. Yeah. How do I do this? Remember, I transitioned over 20 years ago.
Yeah, there's a whole different...
No internet.
Yeah, it was not a type of period where there's like a normal
Google
thing to do.
Yeah, no Google, no Googling sex change or how to become a transsexual or none of that. I had to go to bookstores and try to find things. Yeah,
anytime you have to go to a bookstore, it feels weird.
It feels weird. The bookstore saved my life, though. It really did. It saved my life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so you're attracted to women, or are you attracted to
totally
everyone?
Bisexual.
Oh, totally bisexual.
Yeah, totally
okay,
bisexual.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm very proud bisexual, and I talk about it. For a while, I used to say I'm sexual.
Yeah.
I'm a sexual person. And then I started to realize, but I'm just bisexual. And the bisexual word gets so demonized. And so it's not part of the LGBTQ, whatever. It's not
inclusive.
It's not inclusive,
right? Yeah.
Or you need to choose what you want to do. And I'm thinking, you know what? I really think that most people are bisexual on levels. Maybe some people are more bisexual in this way.
Right.
But I really believe that people have an attraction for people. I don't think it's gender. I think our connection is our connection, whether or not it's male or female, but people tend to have to feel like they need to check that box of sexuality.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm definitely like a person. I've never been attracted to cock yet, but and I
you
say
never
yet.
know.
I'm 26. Who knows?
Exactly. Exactly.
I do a mental check-in every 8 months. I'm like, do I like? No.
But that's
no.
okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is the fact that you're open to it and you're open-minded around it and you're not shut down around other people's sexuality. We have to really talk about this more, and that's why your podcast is so awesome, because you're actually talking to your listeners who might be thinking, well, I kind of want to have sex maybe with a dude and see how it feels, and I'm a dude. And it's okay. It doesn't mean you're gay.
Absolutely.
It does not mean you're anything other than you're experiencing your sexuality. That's it.
I'll experiment.
Of course you will.
Yeah, like when I'm 80, if I have time, if I get around to it, I will try.
Or you never know. You might be in the right place, or you might do it with a man with a vagina.
Well, you know what? Here's a weird thing. I don't talk about this. This is weird. Okay. Sometimes with very close friends, because I don't have a lot of male friends. Most of my friends are all chicks and gay guys. It's been my friend circle for all of college and whatnot.
Interesting.
And then comics. But a very select couple of dudes who I have an intimate friendship with.
Yeah.
You're leaning in close and talking about something, but and sometimes wait a second, do I want to kiss this guy right now? This is weird. And then, but every time, as soon as I scan down to cock, is when I start to go back.
Right.
But I'm just I don't know. He's a really good guy.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. There's an attraction there of him as a person. It's the genitals that are totally turning you off, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. It just means that you're not attracted to cock. Big deal. Who cares?
Hey, so wait, if you were bisexual, why weren't you doing more scenes with cisgender women?
Well, because first off, nobody asked me to do any mainstream films because they know their client base or their fan base and that. In my own films, I have done that. I did a film called V for Vagina.
Love it.
All women.
Did you wear the mask?
Oh, I was gonna.
Or did she wear the mask?
I didn't want to have any problems with that product. Because maybe emulating it. There could be something. When you make porn, everybody watches. So I don't want Universal Studios calling me up.
Yeah.
Cease and desist.
I mean, when I was looking up Nina Hartley, she was in Who's Nailin' Palin. They spell the name Palin differently.
Yes, of course. No, we have to because they watch us really hardcore and they will nail us.
But if anything, for Sarah, like that movie must have only helped her likability.
Of course. Those are the best-selling movies, by the way.
Yeah,
yeah.
The parodies.
Yes, they're the best-selling pornographic movies, which I always wonder about that.
I will say the only physical DVD I own, except for the one that I was in, was the Jersey Shore Triple X.
Right on. I remember that one.
It's really bad.
Yeah, of course it is.
It was. I've never even. I was like, the performances were bad.
Of course,
the women weren't that good looking. The lighting was bad. I'm sitting there at this point. I'm not even beating off. I'm just like criticizing.
You're like, why exactly? This is why I don't understand.
Like, who is the set designer on this thing?
That is really actually the most of the porn world. They just, you know how many videos? I mean, how many movies they put out a fucking month, dude? Like
it's the
hundreds.
same 3 couches.
It is unbelievable to me, and that is why I feel very, very empowered by my work, because my work is so opposite of everything else. And it really is about what I want people to understand about sexuality, which is just looking at it as a beautiful thing and as a natural thing. And talking is important to me, and not just like getting 2 people on the couch over there and fucking. Like, you can just go on XTube and look at that.
Sure.
Why are you making a whole movie like that? And then low budget, and it's just, I don't know. But I guess it sells and makes money.
I mean, yeah.
It must. People would not be producing that kind of stuff if it wasn't making
money. I don't know what in porn still is making money.
It is. Not as much as it was 10 years ago. No way. I just came from a big conference in Phoenix, a webmaster conference.
Hey, everyone, #pay for your porn.
Yes. Thank you very much. My movies get ripped off constantly.
I don't have the best track record. I don't have the best track record myself. But to be fair, I feel like I go to Reddit mostly for self-submitted stuff.
Of course, right.
And I don't feel as guilty.
I mean, you know how I look at mine? I had to just let it go because it was like really upsetting me for a long time. I just realized, okay, well, my stuff's getting ripped off like mad now. That just means that I'm becoming more popular.
Yeah.
And so I looked at it that way. It'll come back to me on some other
They'll
way.
come, and whether it's a merch thing and they come see you live.
Exactly.
The money will get there from that person somehow.
Exactly. So it just puts my stuff out there in a farther reach, and that's how I had to let it go.
You know what I did like, though? This was the one thing I have paid for that I felt comfortable. There's those like pay per minute things where it's
VOD,
you like buy 100 minutes.
Yes.
And then it only takes out your minutes from whatever you actually watched.
Exactly.
Because, hey, I'm not watching the whole hour.
No, you're not. You're beating off for 10 minutes.
So it takes the 10 and a half minutes out. I was like, I like that model. I was like, I would actually pay for it. I have paid for that model.
Yes.
Like, that felt more comfortable.
And also, live webcams are the big thing now.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
huge.
Y'all porn stars now have to diversify.
You have
because
to.
of,
and then you can't really steal it. You know what I mean? It's like live. So it's like you have to come. And so what I'm doing now is I'm actually starting the very first in the world all trans male webcam site, Buck Angel Cams. So yeah, it'll only be trans men. It'll be from guys from all over the world. And so now guys can just go specifically to this to find all the hottest trans guys and have webcam shows with them.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's super awesome. I'm super excited. Yeah. That's how I'm really making more guys be able to be in the porn business.
Really empowering more trans men out there.
More trans men.
Now, do you, I would say few, the couple that I know, a couple of trans men out in New York who have been like starting to do some porn videos.
Yeah.
They're so young. They like just transitioned.
Yeah.
Do you think there's something to be said to waiting to get comfortable with your transition, to get comfortable with your more appropriate body before, I don't want to say exploit it, but like to be selling it?
No, I think everybody is different with their transition. I think I couldn't have done it early in my transition. It's different now than when I did it, right? Now there's just so much more representation and guys feel much more comfortable. Some guys don't even take hormones. But in my Sexy and the Trans Man series, there's guys who've just taken hormones, who don't take hormones, who just call themselves trans, who just started doing it from 1 month ago, to guys who've been doing it for 10 years. Sure. I think that the representation needs to be all across the board. So again, people can see themselves somehow in that represented somehow in the porn genre.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think is still missing from the porn world besides more money? What do you think is missing there now? Is there someone not? Is there a group not included right now? Or is there a group that really needs more than is already happening? Because, like, for example, you've set the momentum. Like the momentum's on the uprise.
Yeah.
With trans male performers.
Yes, totally. So I think people of color. I think I really try to make an effort that way, but we don't have a lot of trans male people of color in porn. I think that I think that needs to be represented a little bit more. I think maybe intersexed. I never see. I'm very big on talking about the intersex population because we don't talk about it.
I still don't really fully understand it.
Yeah, because we don't now. Transgender.
They're not
hermaphrodite.
Are they hermaphrodites?
Well, that's hermaphrodite. It's the old. Actually, I have a friend who's intersex and she calls herself hermaphrodite. But again, the word police.
Right, but for me, it's like I'm like that's the word.
There's
I knew.
nothing wrong with using the word hermaphrodite.
I'll switch
nothing wrong.
If they told me to switch to intersex, I would. I just need them to say hermaphrodite is now
person
intersex.
to person.
Yeah.
Some people are not going to like to be called a tranny, and some people are. You know what I mean? Again, it's the context. And same with intersex. Some people are cool with being called a hermaphrodite, like my friend, and some people aren't. But most people are going to tell you.
Right. But I just have a blanket thing. Like I'm going to use the words I use. If it hurts you, you tell me. And then with you, I will stop using it. Like, with Vinny, like my fag friend Vinny, like doesn't give a shit. He's fine.
Fag.
I mean, he just loves it. He's a total queen, loves his share. Give him big old hugs. He's been riding my back since college.
Right on.
Love him. And he doesn't give a shit. Other people do. And then I just wouldn't call them that.
Of course. That's exactly what I'm saying about
But there's also tact. It's like, also don't just go up to people and be like, hey, faggot. Yeah, like that probably, it's not going to go over too well.
That work very well.
Maybe, like know some of their life story first.
No, really, actually, I think if it's pretty simple. Yeah. It's pretty simple. You don't go around saying tranny, like that. You understand the
especially
word.
not in that voice.
Yes, you just don't do that. That's not okay.
Like
but I mean, I can't even imagine you being a comic now. Horrifying. Like, really. I mean, I was speaking at Cornell, and I was doing my Sexing the Trans Man workshop, and this little young trans kid was sitting in the front, and I started to talk about, I can't remember specifically what I was talking about within the context of one of my interviews, and the trans kid, he goes, and he like raises a hand. I'm like, okay, dude, what's up? And he goes, this is triggering me. Triggering you?
And you can go to the bathroom.
That's what I said. I go, triggering you. Actually, then probably the rest of my whole talk is going to trigger you really bad. So I highly suggest that you either sit here and be triggered silently, or you can leave. I have no problem with that.
What do you think of my weak pussy-ass generation in regards to all the trigger warnings? Because
I think it's exactly that.
I come from a bullying background.
Totally.
And just like, there's something to be said. It's like, don't be an asshole, but also you got to be a little stronger.
You got to be a little stronger. Now, for somebody to do that at a major university, and what are you doing in every class? And they're actually stopping professors from being able to teach classes because it's insane. It's going to come back to bite us in the ass so hard. But I can't imagine it lasting for a long time. It's going to come back around where we can talk and say words, and it's fine.
I think it's just like my generation is the one, the post Reagan. Like we were born at the end of the Reagan stuff, and we're, I guess, like fighting them back against all of what was going down then.
Well, I mean, they're trying to change everything like right now. It ain't going to happen. We need to do one thing at a time. Most importantly, we need to really make human rights in this world.
Right.
And that's what we need to talk about.
Yeah. Have you been attacking anyone in bathrooms recently? Apparently that's something I'm supposed to be concerned about.
We better watch out. I'm going to pee all over you.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Really?
Did you buy the funnel?
Yeah, I guess. I can actually pee and stand at the urinal.
Can you pee?
Totally did.
Really? Well,
I just have to get up against it. And I have to pull my sweats.
So are you like
I'm totally like a 4-year-old.
You're like up against it?
I pee like a 4-year-old, and I have to pull my pants all the way down. But I don't care. I don't care. Dudes never say anything to me, dude. Ever.
I didn't learn that I wasn't supposed to do that until like probably I don't know, like third grade because I didn't even touch a urinal till like third, fourth grade. And the first time I did, I pulled my pants down, and I saw other guys didn't do that. I was like, I probably should stop that. This is going to be a crime eventually.
It totally freaks guys out. I can tell, but I don't give a shit. Whatever.
But meanwhile, they want you in a woman's bathroom. I mean, personally, I don't get. I went to last time I was in San Francisco. my friend Katie and I had to use the bathroom. We walk into a gay bar. It had a unisex bathroom, like a big group bathroom, but it was all like whoever.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is fine.
That's
like Katie,
Europe.
I went to urinal. Katie went to take a piss.
Totally.
And I not once I think like I should rape Katie.
Right.
I never, not once.
No, exactly. Dude.
I can hear her tinkle, and never
Tinkle.
once I go like, I should.
Oh
no.
my God!
We
It's
both washed our hands and
ridiculous.
left.
And just so people know, this has been people have been going into the wrong restrooms forever.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm going to go to North Carolina. I'm going to use the ladies' room.
And take some pictures.
And let's see what happens when I use the ladies' room. They're going to call the police, and it's going to be amazing.
And then you're gonna ask now. Do you ask for any police officer? Be like, I just want to show you my pussy. Like,
Yeah,
or,
totally. Because my ID says male.
Right.
Even my birth certificate says male. So they want us to basically be using the restroom that we were the gender that we were born as.
Yeah.
Okay, but my birth certificate says male. It doesn't say female anymore. So you know what I mean? Like, and then if I pull my pants down, I don't even know what's going to happen. It's just ridiculous.
I feel like they're gonna be like,
What
we
is
should,
that?
we should still arrest him. I guess he followed the law,
Exactly.
but I don't know if he broke the law, we're supposed to arrest him. If he follows the law, we should just arrest all the trannies, and that's how bad things start.
Exactly. And then what about going to the restroom in someone's house? Right. What if I went to the governor's house? What restroom do I use in your house, dude?
Well, in the house, they don't. I don't know. I've yet to see. I've not been to too many rich people's places. No, but I'm trying to make
the point.
Oh, right.
The women use that bathroom.
Sure.
The men use that bathroom. Nobody has a problem with it.
And meanwhile, there's not one documented case of like some MTF trans woman attacking someone in there.
Never. They don't even have any. They're just people are being. It's fear.
Yeah.
They're instilling fear into all these old people that live in North Carolina. And are like, yeah, this is going to cause so many problems. Everyone's going to get raped and killed in the bathroom.
And meanwhile, who's getting attacked and killed in the bathrooms are trans people.
Yes. Exactly. It's the other way around. People
they're the ones who should be afraid.
Yes,
I mean, they shouldn't be afraid. But
we are.
They have a good reason to right now.
Of course. We get attacked constantly.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, they're just trying to make some point, which I don't know what the point is. I'm not really sure what it means. People just don't want to have they want to have progress in our country.
Right. You know what I think a little bit of it comes from is obviously ignorance, but ignorance being just the lack of knowledge. And me, I've only in the last few years understood that there's a separation between sex and gender, which there used to not be that separation.
Right.
Now that's being separated, and those people are old.
Yes.
So they never got taught that.
They never got taught, right.
So I think they don't realize I don't even still fully understand the concept of gender. I have trans friends who have said the phrase experiencing gender.
I know, yeah. Yeah, because you didn't have to.
Right.
You were just born in the body. You've always been a man. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, other than when I knit and I feel a little confused about it, I don't understand what that phrase
and you never
would
will.
mean. Yeah.
You never will. And that unless you dress like a woman one day and walk around and see what happens and see how people react to you.
Yeah.
You'll get a little bit of understanding of how it is for a trans person to walk the world. You will, because people will stare at you. People will say fucked up things to you because you will look a little masculine under that. You will. Your Adam's apple might show or whatever. You might still have some masculinity coming out of it. People are going to look at you. You should do it. Experience it. See what happens. See the feeling that you get from it. You will have a firsthand understanding of what a trans person has to deal with who isn't passing. I don't have to deal with any of that.
Right.
I clearly am passable.
You look like more of a man than I do. It's like...
But a lot of trans people don't pass, right? And they have to deal with a lot of this bullshit that's out there.
And that's for all sorts of reasons, whether it's financial or they just don't feel comfortable doing it.
Exactly. I mean, it's not just trans people, dude. People who might have one arm or one leg, or people, even black people.
Right.
The only people that really walk the world.
People are hating on black people.
Right. The people who walk the world, the only people that walk the world like this are white men who, that's it.
Hi.
That's right.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
That's right.
Nice to meet you.
You got it. You'll never have a problem with anything because you're a white dude. I'm the same thing. Yeah. I have white male privilege now. I walk the world without any problems. Even showing my pussy all over the world, dude. Yeah. I don't have any problems with it. People come up to me and are like, oh my God, are you Buck Angel? Like, people are excited to see me. I never, ever have a problem.
I think a little factor, though, is that you could kick the shit out of most people.
Nah, I don't know. The thing is, look at me.
To be fair, you are very intimidating looking.
Well, people are super cool with me.
If you were a little diminutive, I know this kid Parker, if he tried to I don't know, I could take Parker. You not so much.
But I think also it's my attitude.
Yeah.
I really believe attitude is everything. I really want to I really try always to be smiling, to introduce myself to people, to come off very much like any question you want to ask me. I'm cool with it. I'm not offended by anything. And so that people can understand that I'm a transsexual person and wow, what a nice guy.
Yeah.
And then they can just have this image of what they've never had before, and hopefully go back and say, I met a trans guy. He was super cool.
So fine, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Like how 20, 30 years ago it was like, no, we've got a gay friend, Jim. He seems fine.
Or I have a black friend.
Yeah, it just what was it? They used to vote, like, people used to vote 2-1 in favor of gay rights decades ago if they knew one, right?
Yes.
So now it's the same thing
with
on
the
this
trans stuff, totally.
Yeah.
But what I have to say, I see a huge, amazing thing happening for the trans world.
Yeah?
I see laws passing. Oh my God! But what I always say is what's fascinating to me, because I think my work really deals more with sexuality than it deals with being trans. I'm not a trans advocate. I'm a human rights activist, and I'm also a sex educator. So that said, I see more laws being passed so fast for transgender people than I've ever seen for gay people. Gay people are still fighting to get, we just got marriage. Yeah. So that says to me that the world has a much easier time understanding gender. They have to understand from a man to a woman or a woman to a man. People understand that because they understand gender. But people still have a really hard time with sexuality. Yeah. And they don't understand two men wanting to be with each other. What is the first thing they think about? What is the first thing exactly. Yeah. And what do they think about when it comes to sex? They think about butt fucking.
I was gonna. Okay, when I think about sex,
that's what people think when they think of two men. They think of butt fucking. So they immediately
when they think of two women, they think Birkenstock. You know, they think book club.
U-Haul. They think U-Haul.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, you're very accessible. But there's some people. What would you say to the folks who say that someone who's accessible is not radical enough to really make a change to make people
don't
uncomfortable?
Want to be accessible. Some people, everybody's different. Right. I learned this over years and years and years of being in the public eye and really just wanting to make change. It is my ultimate goal before I leave this earth is to make a major change somehow, to use my transition, my pain of most of my life of being in the wrong body, my pain and my wanting to kill myself, and now look at me to make change. I will. I guarantee you something will come from
you've already made some change.
But not big enough. I want to make serious change.
And to make serious change, there are some people who may say that being accessible, being friendly is too nice and too comfortable for someone who looks, someone like me, to have to force them to change their minds or confront their thoughts on it. There's some who say you got to be...
I don't believe that. I believe that I get through people through my humor and through being accessible and through being just a nice guy and not always being insulted or worried what people are saying to me. Because look, you don't understand being a transsexual person. So you're going to have questions. You're going to say, why would you keep your vagina? Why wouldn't you get a penis? That's not insulting to me. I need to explain it to you. Why? And when I explain it, you're going to go, oh, I get it, and never think about it again.
The problem is when you answer the question, then they go, ew, gross, kill them.
Right.
That's when it's a problem.
Right. And so I had done the Joe, you know who Joe Rogan is?
Of course.
Yeah, so I was on the Joe Rogan show, which was amazing. And he's such the most coolest dude ever.
Dude, Blue, I interviewed him once for a website, and we talked for like an hour and a half.
I know, you can't stop. You'll talk for hours. Yeah, for hours.
That was incredible.
But the fact that he even had me on a show was huge and big. And so I walk in, and of course there's this weird man, which I always get from straight
He doesn't know,
dudes.
it's like, do I hug you? Do I shake your hand?
Like, and I'm a hugger, so I'm all hugging him. And then we're just like, by the end of the show, dude, we're like best friends, and we text each other all the time. And we're like, he really helped me get into a world that used to not like guys like me, or used to have there's a lot of homophobia in that world. There just is. There's a lot of homophobia, a lot of transphobia, because they don't understand. Right. So Joe let me sit there and explain what it means to be this man that I am. And after that show, dude, I get emails constantly from his fans saying, you're a dude, you're cool, I'd hang out with you. And these are like white, straight bro dudes, right? That would want to kick my ass before. But my point being is, I keep getting to be on your podcast, that radio show, to speak to people outside. I speak to people outside of my community.
Right.
I don't need to speak to my community.
They already know.
They already know.
Yeah.
I need to speak to you and to that, and to have those opportunities makes change. I know it for a fact. It makes change.
That's awesome, man. Dating now. So you're like recently divorced, right?
Yeah.
Semi recently.
Horrible. It's been 2 years now.
2 years?
Dude, she ruined. She tried to take me down. You can't take me down.
Right.
She stole all my money. She stole everything from me, dude.
Damn.
Everything. This is just everything that I'm just rebuilding back. She stole my life savings. She stole everything, dude. Everything. She went crazy. She totally went crazy and the crazy thing about it is I had to take her to court to try to get my money back,
right?
And ask for alimony because you don't just get your money back.
Yeah.
When you're married legally, people can take your money, and I didn't know that. But anyway, long story short, I had to try to get my money back, and so I went to court here in Los Angeles and I filed for divorce. And during the divorce proceedings, she kept saying and trying to say to the judge, "I'm a woman. That Buck is a woman." He has a vagina. And she brought in experts and like all these crazy Republican. I'm like, who are you?
Did you show like the clips of her in your documentary talking about how much of a man you are?
Amazing lawyer, Alana Chazen. I have to say her name, Alana Chazen. She won the case because she played my documentary where she's just like, he's a man. He's more man than any man. You know what I mean? Like, and then the judge was just like, you are disgusting. And she wrote a 10-page summary of my win, which my lawyer's like, no judge has ever written a 10-page summary of, stating how basically I'm a man, and that was the first case in the history of the United States.
That'll go in the case law. Though people have to, they're going to have to.
I'm going to
look,
Eugene.
That's a huge change.
Huge,
that's huge. That's a huge change, Buck. Buck, that's a huge change.
It's so awesome. So there's my life, right?
Yeah.
Some shit that happens to me gets turned around into something positive.
In the next years, all probably has already happened. Lawyers have had to use.
Oh no, they're already using it.
Yeah,
They're bringing me into
great.
the Eugene Law School next week to speak at the law school about it. So I'm telling you, dude, like this is how amazing my life is. But at the time, I was going through it.
Sure.
I can't even tell you, dude. It was really a shocking 11 years of marriage to a person who I thought I would be with for the rest of my life and had full control of everything of mine. Just tore me apart, dude. Tore me. Spent so much money. We spent so much money on lawyers for no reason. Yeah. But anyway, it doesn't matter because I fixed it.
Are you still single?
I have a lady friend.
Oh, you have a lady friend?
Yeah.
You call it a lady friend?
Lady friend. Because she's a lady. She's not a girl. She's a hot lady.
For the layman's terms, that your girlfriend, or is that just someone you're seeing?
Oh, no. We're partners.
Okay.
She's a kind of a well-known writer, screenwriter.
Yeah?
And, Guinevere Turner.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who she is. She wrote American Psycho.
Oh.
Yeah, The L Word. Like Notorious Betty Page, done all kinds of stuff. Yeah, dude,
okay.
She's awesome. She's a lesbian, which is very weird.
So
I'm a man,
right? And
remember I said I'm a lesbian earlier.
Yeah. So are you like her first real man experience?
Yeah. So it's fine because I think that she gets it. You know what I mean? Obviously, she gets it. We've been going out for 2 years now.
Oh, okay.
So I met her like right around my divorce, but I didn't really want to get into anything quickly with that. But it just sort of happened. We just made eye contact.
Yeah.
And I am that guy. I like being in a relationship. I like being, with people. I like that. I like
Are you all
love.
monogamous?
No.
No?
No, not at all. But I haven't really messed around with anybody else because I'm getting everything I need. But it's open. We can do whatever we want. But I'm pretty picky.
Yeah?
I work in the sex business.
What's your type?
It depends.
What's your dude type?
Actually, here's my dude type is man, muscles, like totally the masculine male, like that bodybuilder type.
Someone you could wrestle.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I like super hyper masculinity.
Okay,
yeah. And lady is super feminine. Yeah, I'm very much into femininity. But I would say that right now, if I was going to have sex, it'd probably be with a guy.
Okay.
That's more because it's just easier, I think. I just find it much easier to sort of like meet up with a guy, have sex, and never see you again.
Right.
Doesn't usually happen like that with women.
Women, they want dinner, right? No, I'm kidding. Kidding, people. We all know that's not my jazz.
Shopping.
We all know that's not my jazz.
You're going to get busted, dude.
Nah, I mean, look, it's the Man Whore podcast.
Right on. That's so awesome.
They're aware.
Right on.
That things happen. It's so strange I don't have to go through that. It's like, yeah, you want to sleep together? No? Okay, bye.
Okay, right on. See you later.
But before your last ex-wife, you were also, by the way, I love that, I don't know how much you love her or not, but I was intrigued by your first ex-wife. You're Eskimo brothers with, Oh fuck! I forgot. It was like a big name. I was really impressed. I was like, "That's really cool."
You mean the person that she
She went to.
Lana Wachowski,
Yes,
The Matrix,
right?
Whose brother just transitions now
Right.
to Lily, which is so bizarre.
Have you watched Sense8?
Oh yeah, totally.
Jennifer Clayton.
Yes,
Makes me feel things.
Yeah.
Seriously, I was
No,
just
they're
like,
super
that is
intelligent ladies.
Yeah.
I was around when Lana, who was Larry before it
Right,
started.
right.
I was very in that whole situation, and it just wasn't working for me because they wanted to sort of be together with me and my wife. He at the time wanted to have like a 3-way thing, and I'm like, nah, it's not really my thing. And like, you can be in love with 2 people at the same time.
Sure.
You probably can, but I don't know how to do that. I'm a one focused person. I'm very focused on one person. And so that was my first marriage, and that ended up in divorce. And, it wasn't very nice, and it was ugly. And then I had a second marriage, same thing. And so now I guess I shouldn't get married again.
Well, in general, when you date, do you have to clear it? Do people just know who you are at this point?
When I date, most people know who I am,
Right.
but I don't date a lot. I didn't date a lot. I kind of got together with Guinevere really quick after that. We met and just like, I really like her. We just hit it off. And so I'm like, why do I need to look? I found what I want to have right now in my life. We don't live together. We're not doing that thing. We're not doing the Les thing. We have separate lives. She travels, I travel, which is really nice. It keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
Really fresh. And like, of course, when I travel, I can have sex with whoever I want, and so can she. So that's always nice too.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
You're also up to a lot of big things. Like you said earlier on your page, it says, like you're a porn star, director, speaker, and all this jazz. So you also do these videos. You mentioned it earlier, sexing the trans man.
Yes.
And what again is that about?
So it's what I coined as a docu-porn series.
Right.
So it's very much documentary style, where like basically how we're sitting right here and I talk to you about your sex change and how that went, and then I ask you to take off your top and let's see your surgery, or if you don't have surgery, and then let's talk about like why you are doing this and how you feel sexually. And then most of these guys have never shot porn before, so it's really, I have to keep it very intimate and very, as much as there's nobody else in the room. It's just like me and them. And then I have them sort of either do a masturbation scene for me or maybe have sex with somebody else. And so for me, it's what it's done is it's educated people around trans male bodies, sexual, how to look at a trans male body, how do guys feel sexually with their body after transitioning. It's a big deal.
So it's like the audience for that is like a cis
it's everybody,
normative.
everybody, even lots of trans people buy it. Lots of trans people buy it for sure. But I think it's just that cool thing about it is it's across the board. And a lot of universities have bought my series, and they show it in the university gender and gender studies classes and all of that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then you do all these talks. I mean, what's next? Like, what's your big next project? Like, what's your book?
Well, I'm trying to write.
How do you not have a book?
Because I'm not a writer. I'm a total visual film person, and to write is a skill. You know that to write is a skill, and I don't have that skill. I'm very much, which is weird because I'm not intimidated by anything, but I'm intimidated by writing, and it sucks because I really want to. So I started to write my book, but I kind of put it to the side because I got approached to write a book about trans sex.
Okay,
there's no book out there about trans sex, meaning
That's
like
shocking.
how we navigate our bodies. If you want to date a trans person, how do you approach it? So I finally met my co-author. Her name is Erica Anderson, and she's Dr. Erica Anderson, and she's a trans woman who lives in San Francisco, who's a psychologist and a speaker and an academic, and it's like that's exactly what I was looking for. So I hooked up with her, and now we're about to write the book on trans sex. It doesn't exist.
Rockin'.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I have a new trans male sex toy coming out soon.
What's that?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. We can't talk too much about it right now.
Can't talk about it right now?
Yeah.
Okay, but I can get a sample?
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm sending you one.
All right. I mean, Buck, you're a game changer. You've done a lot for a lot of people. You've been fabulous. Thank you so much. Is there anything you want to plug specifically? Where should people go find you?
Buckangel.com.
Buckangel.com.
From there, you can find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on everything.
He's on everything.
And you can watch my fitness videos on Instagram, where I'm trying to really get people to start, learning how to work out. And you don't have to be like buff. But just 20 minutes every couple days just helps yourself out. People don't think they can work out at home.
I walk into his house, everybody, and there's just a series of kettlebells. I mean, it's a very bare bones thing because, like you said, you're like redoing things
also,
after the divorce. But like,
I leave it like this on purpose because I like it. I don't like too much clutter.
Right, but like there's not too
nothing.
much decoration except there's like a ton of kettlebells.
Because she stole
and,
everything
like,
from me. my
Right.
ex-wife stole everything.
But like I like that the first thing you thought was like, well, I gotta get kettlebells.
I know, that's exactly
a necessity.
what I did.
All right, we need a TV, we need
Look,
forks
TV,
and knives,
couch.
and we need kettlebells.
Totally.
Well, Buck, thank you so much for talking
Right
to
on,
me.
my
You've been
friend.
great.
Thank you.
Very much appreciated. Why don't you say goodbye to everybody?
Bye, you guys. Watch my stuff, and this guy's awesome, and keep listening to his podcast, and that's it.
Making me blush. Later, everyone. Oh, wow. Buck Angel. I can't believe I hung out with Buck Angel. Buck was great. I loved hanging out with Buck. It was a super nice dude. Fucking sweetheart of an individual. So I'm glad he did the podcast. I'm hope any Buck fans out there, I hope you enjoyed me chit-chatting with him, and I hope you'll return next week. Go to manwhorepod.com for all the manwhore stuff, the Twitter, the email, the Patreon, all that jazz. You know, I just want to say one more time, please, 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 put it in your iCal, Monday, June 6th. Go to manwhorepod.com, follow the instructions, make my birthday wish come true. Let's make the Man Whore Podcast a top 10 podcast on iTunes. Pretty, please. Instead of the usual outro, we're going to end this week's episode with a little teaser from my bonus episode with Daniela. You'll remember Daniela from last year's Naked Podcasts. She's the one, she does pet play, and she fisted a dude's asshole and, you know, had big old titties and all that stuff. Well, I had her back for another bonus episode, which is available exclusive to my Patreon supporters at the $10 or more level. It's a full-length episode, and I'm going to give you a little taste of it. So enjoy yourselves. I'll see you on Man Whore Monday. Enjoy the teaser, and stay slutty.
No, we were having like a staring contest, and we were like trying not to make it awkward, and then like you took your foot and like pulled my chair just a little bit.
Oh, but you were like, because you were like staring at my cock.
Yeah.
But we weren't, it was not like we sat there for like 2 minutes and did that.
No, it was like
right.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is like, after a prolonged period of time and you staring at my cock, and that made my dick hard. And then there was like, there were like head nods.
There must have been
before I
something,
pulled your fucking chair in like an animal.